All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are opening a file that, honestly, when I first click on it, I thought I'd stumbled into the wrong corner of the internet.
Oh, I had the same feeling.
It felt less like a blog and more like we, I don't know, found a backdoor into someone's private external brain.
It really does. So we are looking at a site called keynmng.org. And the tagline is just perfect. It sets the tone immediately. Musings of an old software plumber.
A software plumber. I love that. I absolutely love that title.
It's so good.
It's so unpretentious, you know? It's all about the pipes, the infrastructure, the messy stuff that nobody else sees.
Right, but here's the thing, and you're going to have to trust us on this one. Our deep dive today, it's not really about code.
Not at all. We're focusing on one specific entry.
Yeah.
From January 23, 2026. The title is Notes on Fishkeeping, Part 179, The Unexpected Allure of the Flowerhorn.
Right, and I can almost hear people hitting the pause button right now, like, did I click on the wrong show? Are we really doing 15 minutes on aquarium filters?
Stick with us. Please, stick with us. Because while the surface topic is, yes, a fish with a weird bump on its head, the actual topic is so much more interesting.
It is. It's about the philosophy of restraint. It's about organic chaos versus digital logic, and really how a technical mind processes something like beauty.
Exactly. This is basically a case study in how a debugger, someone who fixes logic errors for a living, looks at the natural world.
And to understand the fish, you first have to understand the sheer scale of this guy's documentation habit. It's wild.
It is intense. We're looking at the sidebar on his site, just the archives. And to set the scene for you, in January 2026 alone, just up to the 23rd, this author, Ang, has written 69 posts.
69. In 23 days, that's what, 3 posts a day? Every single day.
And it's not just, Dear Diary. The variety is staggering. It's like a scattershot of a very specific kind of brain. Right next to notes on fish keeping, you've got notes on Haskell programming.
Notes on gardening, notes on dieting, notes on elixir. It's like Leonardo da Vinci's notebook if da Vinci was a coder writing in Markdown.
So we have this massive data set of a person's life. And then on this one Tuesday in January, he walks into a fish store. And that's where our story begins.
Well, think about what a software plumber or a back-end engineer actually does. Their whole world is systems.
Right. Logic, strict rules, inputs, outputs.
Exactly. If code is broken, a rule was violated, it's binary. It works or it doesn't. You miss one semicolon and the whole thing crashes.
It's a world of absolute, predictable order.
But then you look at his hobbies. Fish keeping, gardening. These are, organic, messy, chaotic systems.
Biology doesn't always compile correctly.
Not at all. You can do everything right. Perfect water temperature, perfect pH, and the fish still gets sick. The plant just decides not to sprout.
So there's this tension right from the start. A guy who craves logical order is obsessed with hobbies that are fundamentally unpredictable.
Precisely. And that tension is what makes this specific run-in with the Flowerhorn so fascinating. He's bringing a binary mindset to an analog world.
Okay, let's talk about the Flowerhorn, because I did a quick image search on this thing while we were prepping, and wow.
It's a look.
It is certainly a choice. For anyone who isn't an aquarium nerd, a Flowerhorn is a type of cichlids. It's a hybrid, and its main feature, the thing it's famous for, is this giant fleshy hump on its forehead.
The neutral hump, or as hobbyists call it, the coat.
And Ang, our author, he is pretty brutal about it in the post. He doesn't mince words.
No, he says straight up, I've never been particularly fond of Flowerhorns. He calls it aesthetically unappealing.
And that makes so much sense for a software plumber, doesn't it?
It really does. The Flowerhorn is a man-made hybrid. It's bred specifically for that deformity, that hump. It's not a natural design.
It's the biological equivalent of bad, bloated code.
Right.
It's flashy, but it's not efficient. It's a feature that shouldn't exist.
That is a perfect analogy. It is feature creep in fish form.
Right. So for years, Ang has just walked right past these tanks. He's filtered them out as noise. He sees them, categorizes them as ugly, and moves on.
But on this day, January 23rd, the filter fails.
He sees the one. He describes it as a vibrant, pinkish, and orangish specimen. And suddenly all that logic, all that bias against the neutral hump, it just melts away.
He says, for a fleeting moment, I felt genuinely tempted to take the plunge.
And this is such a universal thing, right? We all have these aesthetic contradictions. You might have a rule like, I hate modern art, or I only listen to classical music.
And then you see one painting or hear one song that just completely bypasses your intellectual firewall.
It skips the brain, it hits you right in the gut.
It does. And for Ang, it's the color, the vibrancy. It overrides his logical objection to the shape. He's standing there, and the software plumber is offline. The artist is online.
So he's staring at this pink fish. The add to cart button in his brain is flashing. But this is where the deep dive really starts. Because most people would just buy the fish or check the price and walk away.
But he doesn't do either. He starts negotiating with himself. This is my favorite part of the whole post. He enters what I call process mode.
What does he say?
He writes, if I were to take the plunge, I would certainly prefer a juvenile over a mature adult.
Okay, hold on. That seems completely counterintuitive.
Yeah.
He's staring at a beautiful adult fish.
Right.
He likes that one. Why pivot to wanting a baby one that doesn't even look like that yet?
This is the absolute key to the tinkerer mindset. If you're a consumer, you want the finished product. You want the result. You want the Instagram photo.
Right. I pay the money. I get the pretty thing. Done.
But Ang isn't a consumer. He's a cultivator. He says, as we've discovered, the true joy of fish keeping lies in observing a fish grow to its fullest potential.
Growth over product.
Exactly. If he buys the adult fish, he's robbing himself of the data, of the journey. It's like buying a video game where your character is already at level 99. Sure, you're powerful, but what's the point?
You missed the whole game. You just bought a cheat code.
You miss the grind. And for a guy like this, the grind is the point. And if you look at his sidebar, this philosophy is everywhere. Check out his gardening notes.
Yeah, I'm scrolling now. I see notes on gardening, part 781, the upward growth of plant. And part 782, does germination speed matter?
He's tracking germination speed. He is obsessed with the delta, the rate of change. He doesn't just want a tomato. He wants to understand the variables that create the tomato.
Like he's running a laboratory in his backyard and in his living room.
He is. And that connects directly to the other big topic in the sidebar we have to talk about, Haskell.
Okay, yes, yeah. Haskell. For our non-technical listeners, mentioning Haskell usually clears a room. It has a reputation for being, let's say, difficult.
Difficult is very polite. Haskell is a functional programming language. It is incredibly academic, very mathematical. It's strict. It forces you to think in a completely different way.
So why is he learning it? He obviously knows other languages.
Well, look at the entry. He's at part 39 of his Haskell notes.
Okay.
He's not learning it to build a quick app. He's learning it to rewire his own brain.
How does that connect back to the fish?
It's the same principle. In both cases, you have to get the environment exactly right. In Haskell, if your logic isn't perfect, the code just won't compile, period.
And in the fish tank?
If your water chemistry isn't perfect, the juvenile fish won't grow properly. It won't develop that coke, that hump. He's applying the same rigorous, step-by-step patience to the fish tank that he applies to the compiler.
I see. So when he says he wants a juvenile fish, he's basically saying, I want to compile this fish from source code. I don't want the prepackaged binary.
That is the perfect metaphor. Yeah. He wants access to the source code of the fish's growth. He wants to be the one debugging the biology.
This whole tinkerer identity, it just shines through in that sidebar. Let's just take a minute to appreciate the sheer range of this guy's interests. We have Elixir Erlang, Rust, Go, AI.
Meditation, guitar, photography, and don't miss spawn logs for betas.
Spawn logs. He's actively breeding fish too. He's playing matchmaker.
It really paints this picture of a modern digital renaissance man. But the consistency is what gets me. You mentioned the numbers. 730 posts in 2025. 732 in 2024.
Wait, has he missed a single day in years?
It really doesn't look like it. I mean, think about the discipline that requires. Most of us struggle to keep a gym habit going through January.
This is like the quantified self movement, but less about charts and more about narrative.
It's narrative data.
Yeah.
And it serves a huge purpose. When you write something down, even if it's just saw a pink fish today, didn't like the hump, you are forcing yourself to pay attention. You are debugging your own life.
Creating a commit log for your existence.
Exactly. If he hadn't written this post, that moment in the fish store would have just vanished. It'd be forgotten memory junk. By writing part 179, he indexes it. He can analyze his own biases later.
Okay, so back to the store. We have this hyper-observant, data-logging, fish-breeding software plumber. He's tempted by the pink flowerhorn. He's rationalized that if he bought it, he'd want a baby one.
And he has the money. He's very clear about that. He says, even if we have the means to do so, Which is a humble flex, but an important detail.
It is. This isn't about the price tag. So the tension is high. Does he buy the fish?
No. This is the plot twist.
He walks away.
He walks away. And the reason he gives is, for a short blog post about a fish, surprisingly profound. He writes, "However, life has taught us that we do not necessarily need to possess everything that catches our eye."
That's almost stoic. It sounds like something Marcus Aurelius would write if he had an aquarium.
It is incredibly stoic. He follows up with, "Sometimes simply appreciating its beauty from afar is more than enough."
You know, in the age of Amazon Prime and one-click buying, that is a radical statement.
It's completely countercultural. We are conditioned to close the loop, see it, want it, buy it, own it. That's the cycle. The friction between wanting and having has been almost totally removed.
Add to cart is the dopamine hit. A lot of the time, we don't even care about the item. We just care about the act of acquisition.
Right. But Ang breaks the loop. He manually interrupts the process. He uncouples appreciation from ownership.
He realizes he can get 90% of the value, the beauty, the inspiration, without taking on 100% of the burden of ownership.
The burden, yes, let's talk about that. As a fish keeper, he knows that burden better than anyone.
We saw it in the sidebar. Part 173, the blackbeard algae.
Oh, if you've ever kept fish, you know blackbeard algae. It is a nightmare. This stubborn, fuzzy black scourge that just takes over your tank.
So when he looks at that beautiful flowerhorn, he doesn't just see a pretty pink fish. He sees the future.
He sees water changes. He sees pH testing. He sees the specialized food it needs. He sees the potential for that cockroach of algae to come back.
He sees the technical debt.
There it is, the software term.
Explain that.
In software, technical debt is what happens when you add code that's not quite right, or you add too many features too quickly, and suddenly maintaining the whole system becomes a nightmare.
So every new fish is a new feature in his life system.
And every new feature brings maintenance costs. It's the difference between a clean code base and spaghetti code. If you add every feature you think of, your app becomes slow and buggy.
And if you buy every fish you like, your life becomes slow and buggy.
Exactly. So not buying the fish was a refactoring decision. He's optimizing his life's code by saying no to a new feature. He looked at the resource cost time, energy, tank space, and decided the return on investment just wasn't there.
I love that. It makes the decision feel so active. He didn't just not buy it. He decided not to buy it.
It was an active choice of restraint. And there's another layer. If you look at the sidebar again, we see notes on photography, part 226, right alongside notes on dieting, part 113.
Dieting and photography. Both of those are about limits.
Precisely. Dieting is literally the art of not consuming something you want. It's saying no to the cake. And serious photography is all about framing. It's about what you choose to exclude from the shot to make the subject clearer.
So this guy's a master of constraints.
He's practicing constraint in every part of his life. Dieting, constraint of calories. Photography, constraint of frame. Haskell, constraint of logic. And fish keeping, constraint of tank space. The Flowerhorn was just a pop quiz.
And he passed.
He passed with flying pinkish orangish colors.
But here's the irony, and I think this is the meta point of the whole deep dive. He didn't buy the fish, but he did get something out of it.
He got the blog post.
He got part 179.
By writing about the temptation, he captured the essence of the fish. He preserved the allure he talks about in the title. He owns the experience now, forever archived, without ever having to clean its poop.
That might be the ultimate life hack. If you write about it, you don't have to buy it. You process the desire through text instead of through your wallet.
It turns impulse into insight. Instead of a transaction of money, it became a transaction of ideas. Which, for a learner type like him and like you listening, the insight is probably more valuable anyway.
It's definitely safer. A blog post won't die if you forget to feed it.
That's very true.
You know, thinking about the date again, January 2026. It makes me think about the future of attention. We are just drowning in options, new hobbies, new gadgets, new things to learn.
And the algorithms, the ones running the sites we all visit, they're designed to break down that exact resistance. They're designed to show you that one pinkish orangish thing you can't resist.
So Ang's strategy, this habit of stopping to write it down, It's almost a survival mechanism.
It has to be. I mean, look at his interests. AI, guitar, gardening, 5 coding languages. If he chased every single shiny object that crossed his path, he'd just collapse.
He'd stack overflow.
He would
right?
literally stack overflow. The system would crash. He has to have a garbage collector running in his brain that says, nice fish, not keeping it, delete.
Garbage collection, another programming term.
It's the process where the computer frees up memory that isn't being used anymore. If you don't run it, your computer slows down and eventually freezes. Aang is doing manual garbage collection on his desires.
That's such a powerful image. It's mental hygiene.
And it allows him to focus on the things he did say yes to. The Haskell, the other tanks, the garden. By saying no to the Flowerhorn, he's saying yes to the projects he's already committed to.
It's about protecting his bandwidth.
Exactly. You only have so much RAM in your brain. Don't fill it with fish you don't actually love.
So let's zoom out. We've gone from a fish tank to Haskell to the philosophy of desire. If we have to distill this, what is the core takeaway? What do we learn from the old software plumber?
For me, it's 2 big things. First, it's that definition of joy, observing a fish grow to its fullest potential.
The process.
The process. We need to stop obsessing over the finish line, whether you're learning Spanish or learning to code or building a deck. If you're miserable during the process, you're missing the entire point. The joy is in the delta.
It's about the series, not the season finale.
I like that. And the second thing is the art of not buying, the permission to just be a tourist in an experience.
A tourist in an experience. I like that phrasing.
You can visit the idea of owning a Flowerhorn, you can stand in the shop, you can admire it, you can feel the temptation, and then you can just go home. You don't need the souvenir to prove you were there.
You don't need to possess beauty to appreciate it. I think that is incredibly liberating, especially for people who feel guilty for having too many interests. It's okay to look and not touch.
It's more than okay. It's necessary if you want to stay sane in a world of infinite options.
So here's our challenge for you, the listener. We want you to channel your inner Aang today. Be the software plumber of your own life.
Pull up your internal sidebar. Look at all the open tabs you have running in your brain.
Think about the projects or items you are currently lusting after. Maybe it's a new camera, a new car, maybe even a new job title.
The pinkish, orangish thing in your life right now, the thing that's tempting you to break your own rules.
And ask yourself, do you actually want the burden of owning this? Do you want the technical debt? Or do you just appreciate the aesthetic of it?
Can you admire it from afar, write a mental note, maybe even journal about it, and then just walk away? Can you be happy watching it exist without it belonging to you?
Or, if you do decide to take the plunge, are you willing to buy the juvenile? Are you willing to put in the work? Or do you just want the instant gratification of the adult fish?
Are you in it for the grind or just the trophy? That is a question to chew on while you debug your own reality.
Indeed. Thanks for taking this dive into the archives with us. It was a weird one-fish code and philosophy, but I think it was a necessary one.
Until next time.